Welcome to the Netivot Shalom Shir. We're continuing with the studying of Netivot Shalom's Torah on BITACHON. And just as a reminder, last week we did the first part of BITACHON, in which we said that what is BITACHON? And we pointed out that Amunah is the progenitor of BITACHON. There's BITACHON flows from Amunah. And I pointed out that there are two aspects, and Netivot Shalom pointed out, there are two aspects of Amunah, of faith in Hashem. And one aspect is Amunah, that Hashem created the world, that there's a creator. And the second part of Amunah is that God is involved in this world. He runs the world. He's the manhig of this world. And BITACHON flows from that. And what BITACHON is that you know that God created the world, that God runs the world, but now you have BITACHON, you have the confidence that God will act on your behalf, that God is with us in all our situations and will act on our behalf. So, given that introduction from last week, I'm going to start with Beit. This is in his Sefer, Netivot Shalom Aleph, and it's on page Nun, page 50. And you have the source sheets there on screen as well as what I sent you. So he says as follows: Kishem she'amuna makifa es adam b'chol matzavam. Just as Amunah surrounds a person in everything he does, body, soul, and spirit, basically. Every aspect of your being is surrounded by Amunah. The higher aspects and the lower aspects. Whether you're going up or you're going down. Or Makif Sovi comments. It's like the light that surrounds everything in every situation that we are in. Elam called Dargan, Batachon called Dargan, Batoch called Dargan. Above every level that you're at, below every level that you're at, and within the middle of every level that you're at. As wherever you are, Amunah surrounds you. So too, just as Amunah surrounds you, so does your bitachon in Hashem, your confidence that Hashem will do only good for you. The K'mo Chazal, the Parsha, it says in Shemot, and this is after Moshe Rabbeinu came down with the Luchos and saw that the Bnei Israel made a golden calf, and then he broke the Luchos, he broke the tablets of the commandments, and then he went up again to Shemayim for another 40 days, and was coming back with the second set of commandments. And at that point, Hashem said, Hashem, God, Keil Rachum V'Chanun, is merciful and forgiving. In other words, Ani Hashem Kodem Sheyichta Adam, I am the same God who was there before man sins, Ba'achar Achet, and after the sin. Kodem Achet, before the sin, when your desires are overcoming you, your desire, your need for whatever you're looking for, whatever gratification you're looking for, is burning within you. And the way to save yourself from this, you're about to fall into the abyss. You're about to do things that you know God doesn't want you to do. You're about to do things you know you shouldn't be doing. But your Yetzer Hara is so strong. How do you keep from doing them? This is the only way The only way is ayidei amuna chazaka v'tahara, only through strong and pure amuna. Ki melech malchei amlochi v'akadosh baruch hu omed olav roa b'masa, knowing that the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, is standing above you and seeing everything that you're doing. You know, people think they can get away with doing things in secret. Nobody's going to see them in the privacy of whatever particular privacy they're in. But it's not true. Hashem is not a human being. It's not a question of looking through walls. Hashem standing right there with you. Hashem knows what you're doing. Hashem knows what we're doing. And in fact, the Shulchan Aruch says when you wake up in the morning, you should realize that Hashem is standing over you. So Hashem is always standing over and always aware of what we're doing. So if you have that concept in mind, for example, if as a child, you want to do something bad and your mother is standing over you, your father is standing over you, you're not going to want to do it. Depending on the age of the child, sometimes we'll just deliberately, but if there's something you don't want your parents to know, you're definitely not going to do them in front of them. You can't get away from God. God is there wherever we are. There is judgment. There's no free ride. When you violate the ratzon of Hashem, the will of Hashem as expressed in His commandments, there is a punishment. There is a judgment for it. The Lashon Zohar Kodesh, and as the Holy Zohar says, Boy Barnosh, the Mebe Takifa, Aryeh B'chol Stura. Person has to be strong like a lion in every aspect of his life, in all of his surroundings, to be able to withstand everything. And further, not only that, even though you weren't able to keep from doing the sin, you keep from violating the ratzon of Hashem. If God forbid you weren't able to withstand the test, and God is always giving us tests, and you stumbled, you fell from the level that you were at, when you feel you feel so broken and torn apart that there's no place for you. You recognize that you've done something that is against God's desire, and even though you've done it, you give it into your Yetzer Hora, you regret it. You regret it, and you're broken about it. Even though you're in that place. The emunah that you have, the faith in God that you have, is your first aid and your prescription, is your remedy to heal yourself from those feelings. You also have to be strong in your emunah. Know that God does not push us away. Just like if you look up into the heavens, God is there. If you're down in the lowest parts, Gehenna, lowest part that you could fall, God is there. And Rebbe Nachman has a beautiful Torah on this pasuk from Tehillim that I just cited. You look to Shemayim, and you realize that you have a long way to go. And sometimes the tzaddikim have a much more difficult time because they've got a long way to go. Looking up at Shemayim, Hashem's way up there. But those who have fallen to the greatest depths, Hashem is right there with you. You don't have more to travel. God is with you in the greatest depths, and that's the key. the key of Emunah, that no matter where we are, what level we are, how far we have fallen, or how high we have risen, God is with us. He is chazek b'bitachon, and we have to be strong in our confidence in God and our bitachon in God. That the basis, the root of emunah of a Jew is kibonim atem l'Hashem Elokecha, because the root of a Jew is that we are children to the Lord your God. Hainu yargish atzmo. In other words, you should feel kamo ven hamelech, like this child of the king. Asher b'chol matzavim, in every aspect of your life, hachi shvelim, vayerudim. There are times you're going to really fall below expectations of yourself and of your father, the king. You're going to fall to the lower levels. Adai nishar ben hamelech. No matter how low you fall, you're still the son of the king. You're the prince or the princess. Benkach, Korean bonim. And no matter what you do, God always calls you children. The dispute, the famous dispute between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda about the meaning of this. And Rabbi Meir says, Benkach nikro bonim. No matter what you do, we're always the children of God. And it says the halacha follows Rabbi Meir, which is an unusual thing because normally it follows Rabbi Yehuda, but the halacha follows Rabbi Meir, that always God's children. All Indian Ramuna Bitachon. Another aspect of Emunah and Bitachon, even at the very time that you're sinning, in that very moment, where you're totally embedded in doing whatever this wrong thing is that you're doing, with the defilement of the sin. And your desires, your Yetzer Hara is burning in you with the fire of desire. Ubechinas havati bivin mitsula ein mamad. It's like it says, Davidovich says in Tefillin, I feel like I'm sinking in the mire. I have no foothold. I have nowhere to stand. I just can't stand. I can't resist what I'm doing. There's no way I can overcome this desire. Even at such an unfortunate time, where you've fallen into the negative influence. You can't seem to get out of it. You should always realize, as we say in Tillim, no matter how low you fall, from the depths, I call to you, Hashem. I call to you from the depths of wherever I am, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I call to you from the depths, and you will answer me, because we say before the shofar blowing, from the depths I call to you, O God. Haneni demes yishechad, answer me in truth of salvation. God will answer us. Kapirshu Rabbeinu Kodesh Zechalenu Ki Mamaki HaKlipot Shani Nimtzo Misham Korasicha. From the depths of the klipa. The klipa is the outer covering, the improper covering of whatever the bad things. Klipa normally refers to something. It's the part of the fruit that you throw away. It's the non desirable part. So whatever part, the depths of this klipa, I mean the depths of where you have sunk into. From there, you can call to God. And even then, You might feel that you're not able to overcome the greatness of your desire. You can't overcome it. God forbid, ein roa, you can't see your way out. You should strengthen yourself with the faith. Shakadosh Baruch Hu omed alav ro b'masa. Strengthen yourself with the faith that you're not alone, that God is standing there watching what you're doing. And the embarrassment that you have covers your face. You reach a point where you're so embarrassed of what you've done, you no longer enjoy the benefit of how you've given in to your desires. But you don't have the power really to stop. When you're under the power of the negative of the sitra achar, the other side, meaning the negative influence in your life, and you still have this fire of desire. Nonetheless, you will not leave the emunah in Hashem. And along these lines, it says when Bilam is asked by Balak to curse Bnei Yisrael, and after he gives him the bracha Matovo Lech Yaakov and so on, Balak says, "I hired you to curse them, not to bless them." And Bilam says, "I can't say anything except what God puts in my mouth." And he says, "Lo hibit avo b'Yaakov v'lo ra amal b'Yisrael." I cannot see anything wrong in Jacob or any bad in people of Israel. Hashem alakav imo. God is with them through us melech bo, and he is their king. V'chi kulam bashvaponim yesh b'davar, and there's no what's the wording here? Kulam yash bashvaponim. The matter is not unclear. Sheinu mabit al chet Yisrael. I'm sorry, it's not the matter is not unclear. He says it very clearly. There's no room for doubt. Sheinu mabit al chet Israel. He doesn't see any sin in Israel. Alo chas v'shalom. Amru kala omer hakadosh baruch hu matron b'chulu. One should not think that God overlooks what you do. God sees what you do, gives you an appropriate judgment for it and punishment for it, and that it wipes away the sin. So therefore, there is no sin. Because God is our God. When you're in such a low level, that you violated a commandment, you're doing an avera, you're doing a sin, and even though your sin is so severe that you're in the lowest possible levels of degradation, there too, your emunah will be ki Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokeinu, Omin Alav, that God is with you. God is standing by you, standing with you, seeing everything that you do. V'habusha ad omek nafsho einenu notenet lo lasot achet b'shlemos. And the fact that you're embarrassed thinking that God is standing over you, watching what you're doing, that will not enable you to do a complete sin, to have the complete satisfaction of the sin. Because on this kind of a sin, God doesn't look at the sin. The fact that you're embarrassed about what you've done, that's an aspect of tshuva. Therefore, God's not going to look at the sin. It says this is the root of bitachon. Amuna b'mala kadoshes nishmas Yehudi. Amuna lifts up the holiness of the soul of a Jew. The Shuv ben Melech, and shows that the Jew is the son of the king. Shigam matzavu hashefel, the lowest levels. V'hayored, but you've gone down so far biyoter. Adayin lo nishtanit mitziyoso. The reality doesn't change. Your actions don't change the reality of where you are and how God looks at you. Meinu chadal miyot ben hamelech. You never cease to be the child of the king, no matter what you do. Ukarumas b'pasuk, as it says in Divrei Hayomim, Yomer David says, Baruch atah Hashem Elokei Yisrael, blessed art to our Lord, King of God of Israel, Avinu me'olam yad olam, our Father from forever and forever. Perish, what that means is Atu Elokei Yisrael, you, the Lord of Israel, Hincha Avinu, you are our Father. No matter what world I happen to be finding myself, whether it's in the nether world or the upper world, wherever I am, just as we've said before, the Tehillim, you're up in the heavens, no matter if I'm the highest level, you're there, and if I fall into the lowest level, for sure you're there. At the lowest level, you are still my Father. And it appears to me that this language of endearment that God talks about Bnei Israel, the Yosef b'Shefel Amatzav, even when Bnei Israel is the lowest level, which as where you've totally dropped down to the lowest possible level of defilement, as we were in Mitzrayim. And Mitzrayim, when Hashem said, B'ni B'chori Israel, my child, my firstborn in Israel, they were at that low level. So too, when we fall hospital at that lowest level, Yam Oz, Heim Bechinas Elite Kazos, B'nei B'chori Israel. You can raise yourself up with remembering that and having the bitachon that God always considers you as his firstborn child. B'nei B'chori, it's my chosen child. And that memory will take you through any situation. And the bitachon is your confidence that God will be with you in that situation. Not only that God is looking at the situation, but he's mamish with you to save you, to answer your tefillot. All you have to do is ask. Bitachon. That's the way we get through each day. That's how we can look at things that appear horrible to us, that are causing pain, grief, illness to so many people. But we know that sof, as Kedushas Levi said, L'pa'amim nira she-lo tov. There are times things look like it's not good. Aval b'sof k'shad nigmar hadavar. At the time when everything is over, Roim, we will see shakol tov v'chesed. Everything has been good and kindness. And we just have to have that bitachon, that's what God is all about, his treatment of Bnei Israel. And that bitachon will enable us to get through every single situation we have, no matter how painful physically and emotionally it is. And that is the Netivot Shalom. I'm going to stop the recording. And then I'll take any comments you want after the recording. Give me a moment.